Okay, QuickBooks Online, or also referred to as QBO, is a cloud-based accounting software that businesses use to manage their finances. And because it does not reside on your local computer, you can access your records, your books from anywhere that you have an internet connection. So let's get right into it. I'll do a short training on how to use the bank feeds feature of QBO. This here is a dashboard for the sample company Craig's Design and Landscape Services. And let's go to transactions and transactions and bank transactions, and it's going to bring us to the bank feeds. You'll notice there are two bank accounts that are connected to QBO. We have a checking account and a savings account. You can also link additional bank accounts or credit card accounts. And you would do that by clicking on this link account and selecting your bank from the list, or by typing the bank name in the search box. I'm not able to show you how to do that because this is a sample company. But once you select your bank, just follow the on-screen instructions and it will guide you through. And most banks are supported by QBO. QuickBooks automatically downloads transactions every night for the accounts that you have connected. And when you go to the bank feeds, you'll see what those downloaded transactions are. This here is your bank feeds. It also tells you how many transactions were downloaded for your checking account and how many transactions were downloaded for your savings account. And if you scroll down, this says there's 25 transactions downloaded for the checking. You scroll down and all the 25 transactions are listed there. And you'll need to review each transaction and add them to the QBO register. Or if a transaction was already entered in QuickBooks, you would match this downloaded transaction to the transaction that's already in the register. So you would either add or match the transactions. So let's do a couple of them. Okay, this one is Books by Bessie. $55 was paid to Books by Bessie on 7/16/24. Whoops. Let's go back to that. And you know it was a payment made because it's in the spent column. It was money out, $55 paid to Books by Bessie. All right, and here if you notice it says that one match was found. That means that QuickBooks found a transaction that's already in the QuickBooks register that could be the same as this downloaded transaction. So it's important that you review it and see if that is actually correct, because sometimes QuickBooks could be wrong. So to view it, you can see this is the one it found in the register that it thinks may be the same as this transaction that was downloaded. You can look at the details here, or you can click anywhere on the transaction to expand it. And you can see all the details right here. So this was a check for $55 paid to Books by Bessie on 7/16. As you see, it is the same as the downloaded transaction, $55 to Books by Bessie on 7/16. So you would match this transaction, and this circle next to match would already be selected for you because it's suggesting that it's a match. So you just review everything and you can click match here, or you can click match down here. These are all in the same transaction. So we'll click match. So that's taken care of. Now let's look at this one here, Hicks Hardware. This QuickBooks did not find a match for this one. So we will have to add this transaction as a new transaction. There's no match for it, so we'll have to add it. So we click on the transaction to expand it. And this circle next to categorize would already be selected, meaning that you have to categorize this transaction as a new transaction. You'll be adding it to your register. So right here you would fill in the vendor name or the payee name. A vendor and payee are the same. So you would put in the vendor name if it's not already in there, or even if it's in there, just make sure that it is the correct name, or else you need to correct it. And then you come over to the account field, and you have to know what it is that was purchased, so you can put that purchase, you can categorize that purchase correctly to the correct account. I will say that Craig's Design and Landscaping Services purchased supplies from Hicks Hardware, so we'll treat this as a supplies purchase. So you can click on this drop down arrow and scroll down and see if there is a supplies expense account already listed. If it's your books, you probably will know if it's already there, and you can just go find it. You scroll down and find it. It's in alphabetical order. Click on it and it puts it in there for you. Or another way to do that would be to type it in. You can start typing supplies. And as you type, it's looking for what you're typing, and it found supplies here. Even though I didn't finish typing it out, that it found the supplies account, expense account. So you can just click on that and it puts it in there for you. You'll bypass, for now, we'll bypass these other fields and we'll just come down to the memo field. And I like to put in there what was purchased. For example, what supplies did Craig purchase from Hicks Hardware? I'll put maybe some rope or whatever details I want to put in there. Maybe how much rope did he buy? You know, all the other details. And just look it through one more time and click on add. All right, so let's do another one real quickly. I want to do one of those two matches that were found. Where is that? I wanted to do, I know there were a couple there that said Books by Bessie. There's another two, this is another transaction for Books by Bessie, and QuickBooks found two matches. So we need to see what those two matches are and see if any of them is a true match. We click on this anywhere on here to expand it, and it lists both the two matches here. The first one is a bill payment. A bill payment is a check that was written or payment that was made to pay a bill that was entered in QuickBooks, and the check was printed out of QuickBooks more than likely. So it's a bill payment for $75 paid to Books by Bessie on August 24, 2024. The second match is an expense that was paid to Pam Sites for $75 on 8/26. Now we know this is not the match, but this one is. If we look at the details again and we look at the downloaded transaction, we know that this one is the match. We click on that. The circle next to match would already be checked, and you click match. Okay, and that takes care of that one. Now, it is very important that you match existing transactions instead of adding them, because adding them will result in duplicate transactions and your reports will be incorrect. Your numbers will be off. And you would do the same thing for all the transactions listed here. You add or match them. A lot of them had QuickBooks phone matches for most of them actually. And you would add your expenses and your deposits, your money out and your money in, money received, the same way you add your money out transactions. You would add or match, I should say, the same way that you do your expenses, your money out transactions. All right, that's a quick overview of QBO bank feeds. Now, once you're done adding or matching all your transactions, you can print a P&L report to give you an idea of where your money went, give you a picture, your financial picture. And to do that, I'll show you real quickly how to print a P&L, a profit and loss report. You come over here to this left column, click on reports, and you would click on profit and loss. It's up here in your favorites, but if it wasn't in your favorites, you would just scroll down under business overview and select it there, profit and loss. All right, let's click on that real quickly. And here you would plug in the report date. What period of time do I want this report to be based on? Let's say we want to see everything for 2024, so we'd put in 1/1/24 to the current date, and today is 9/21 that I'm doing this, so that's what's there. We'll print this report on an accrual basis, and I won't get into a lot of details on that, but we will choose accrual, and we click here, run report. It runs the report for you. This is an expanded version of the report where it lists the accounts, and if there are sub accounts for some of those parent accounts, it will list the sub accounts below. Okay, but to make it a little easier to read, I will collapse it by clicking here, and it's a little easier to read. And here at the top of the P&L, it lists all your income and the income categories with the amounts. At the bottom, it lists all your expense accounts and the amounts. You may want, in case you want to know what is, for example, Craig had design income totaling $2,250, and if he wants to know what this number is made up of, he would just click on the amount. It brings him over to a transaction report, and it would show him exactly which customers paid him and how much they paid him in the amount column. So John Melton paid $750. He can click on this and it will take him to an invoice that he issued to John Melton for that much. And maybe there's more details on that invoice. So you can always drill down. And it lists all the customers and the amounts they paid that makes up that $22.50. Let's go back to the report here. And you can do the same thing for all of those. Here we have cost of goods sold. We didn't talk about that. That has to do with inventory. And the same thing for your expenses. If you want to know, let's say utilities, what utilities were paid through today's date, the dates of the report, click on that and you just scroll through and look and see what's there. We have some telephone bills that were paid to Cal Telephone, and these are the amounts. Let's see if anything else was paid. Yes, there were some gas and electric bills that were paid, and shows you how much those were for, and the total for all those. Now it will give you your total income, $10,277. That's Craig's total income. His total expenses listed here, and then this net operating income is the total of the income and subtracting out the expenses. Oops, I didn't mean to click over there. Let's go back. Okay, so this net operating income is the income less your total expense, your total income less your total expenses. He also had some other miscellaneous expenses for this much, and here that was subtracted out, which gives him a net income of $1,618.08. All right, so I hope that you learned something today, or if you have any questions, please reach out.